Hello guys, before we start, I'm going to be discontinuing on A Hollow's Heart, mostly due to me basically having burnout on that series and also no longer being interested in, Monster Girl Encyclopedia. Honestly, it was pretty interesting at one point, but now it just became boring. So either way, guys, you can probably adapt it if you want. I honestly don't care, just as long as you credit me or something like that. But either way, let's continue on with this episode, shall we, ladies and gents? So welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about Azure Lane Fallen Lord. Let us begin. So, we go back to our boy Izuku as he's currently now with the rest of his group. In this case, Millennia. Actually, what's his name? It's been a while. Yeah, Mesmer and our boy. They used to be Moog Lester, but he got the Moog Lester. Still not getting over that, but either way, Moog. As Izuku would be there with the rest of his group, as they're currently now talking with Nagato again. And not only that, with a few other members of I was about to say Azure Lane, I meant the rest of the Sakura Empire's more prominent ships. As we would go to Akagi, as she would say, well, I'm sorry for, well, as he would say this, specifically Izuku, you're supposed to be against the Sirens, not joining them in the first place, he would say, obviously annoyed to say the least. As Kaga would say, I do have to admit, it was kind of a dumb idea, but still, we were trying to save our sister, trying to revive her. We didn't know at the time that she was alive at all, so as he would just look at her and would say, either way, what happened exactly that caused that explosion? And what were you doing talking to the Sirens in the first place? As they would start to explain, apparently they used to be one faction, known as Azure Lane, until they decided to use siren technology against the Sirens. These two factions were them, the Sakura Empire, and that of I was about to say the Sardinia Empire, but for now we're just going to ignore them, because honestly I don't really care about them. But the other one was that of the Iron Bloods. After hearing that, he would say, so, you decided to fight fire with fire? Quite interesting. As they would continue, they would say that after they left Azure Lane, they created their own faction, called the Crimson Axis. As they would explain that apparently they wanted to show them, or at least show Azure Lane, that their methodology is wrong, and show them the power of their innovation, their version of justice. And so they would use siren technology on their own to basically fight against the Sirens. But during that one mission, Amagi, or in this case, I'm just gonna call her Big Sis for now. Amagi would be killed in battle, leading to Akagi to basically make a deal with the Sirens to revive her and to create something much more dangerous, called Project Orochi. As this Project Orochi was going to be a ship to fight against Azure Lane. After hearing the explanation, he would say, I am both disappointed in you and also concerned. Especially with this Orochi, you say. After saying that, she would say, well, unfortunately, the Sirens have taken that already. As when he heard that, he would say, then, if that's the case, for now that's not our problem. For now, we need to find a way to at least get you guys back on the right track and not using you and not joining up with the sirens again, he would say. As they would all flinch, as Amagi would say, yes, sister, it would be a better idea to join back with Azur Lane. Even a formal apology if that may be the case. As Akage would flinch and would say, well, about that. As they would explain the whole declaration of war that happened. As Izuku would just look at her and just goes like, are you... Now it feels like back in my kingdom back in the day, he would say, obviously annoyed and also concerned. As she would say, I'm very sorry. We were confused at the time, and as he would say, stop right there. For now, I'm gonna go back to my kingdom and rest. For now, you should probably try and get in contact with Azur Lane. And about this Iron Blood, try and make sure that they do not notice your recent activities. As they would say, very well, Izuku-sama, they would say, as Nagato would walk towards him. As Nagato would say, thank you for your expertise at least. As he would say, yes, I know. You have made mistakes, but some of those mistakes would lead you to ruin. I mean, I remember a story back in my world. As you would sit down near a balcony, as Nagato would sit by and would say, a story? As some of the others would also decide to listen. As they would also notice something with both Mesmer and Melania. As they would see them flinch a little bit, as he would say this. Yes, her name was Marika, the first ethereal, and the first, well, goddess. After hearing that, they would say, goddess? As he would say, yes. She was said to be the first one to ever taken over the lands between. She and her consort at the time, known as not Radagon, but what's his freaking name? Horalu, also known as, let me just check his. I meant Godfrey or Godfrey. As he would also explain how, if you're wondering, this is kind of a spoiler to the original Elden Ring. That apparently Marika split herself into two. One being that of Radagon of the red hair, who married the queen of magic, I think she was called. I can't remember exactly her name. And while they were, banging it, they would later divorce. And also for Godfrey and Marika, they would also divorce, leading to both, well, Radagon and, Marika deciding to marry and then bang. As one of them would ask, wait. If that's the case, they would technically be siblings, right? Said Taiko, as he would say, yeah, though I would rather ignore that part of the story. But either way, after that happened, they would create children. In this case, Melania, Mesmer, and Mikola. As they would notice their names, as they would say, wait, isn't that the names of... As both Mesmer and Melania would say, yes, they, or at least she was our mother. As after hearing that, they would say, that means you're demigods? As one of them would say, yes, that also includes our half-brother. As they would say, half-brother. As Moog would step in and would say, yes, I am technically their half-brother. Though, let's just say, I was discarded because of my deformities. As after saying that, as Kazuki would say, I see, that's quite, as Izuku would continue, one day, her first son, let's just say he was killed by his very own sister. As hearing that, they would say, wait, what? Why would they do that? Said a confused Zukaku. As after hearing that, he would say, well, it's to ascend. This leading to the creation of destined death, or at least destined death being taken away. As they would say, destined death? As he would say, yes. Unlike your world, ours, well, most of us are immortal. And the only way for us to get killed, or actually being killed, is through destined death, which I now wield. As hearing that, they would say, my god. As they would say, yeah. As Izuku would continue again, after that, she became mad and seeks to essentially overthrow the other gods. Or in this case, the ones that gave her the power in the first place. But due to that, she was defeated and then imprisoned. A consequence of her daring to try and destroy, or in this case, distort, and even daring to try and overthrow their order. Now she's forever stuck in a limbo of her own making. As after he was done with the story, he would say, and I would rather not let you become like that, letting you live to the consequence of your own actions. For now, get ready for anything, especially in cases of your Iron Blood friends deciding to try and get revenge against you. Bye now. As after saying that, he would start to leave, as the rest of his entourage would start leaving. But before he left, Izuku would look at Amagi and would say, Amagi, please be careful here. Ever since I met you, you're actually kind of a good friend. But remember this: try not to get into the same folly as your friends there. Okay? Guide them. As after saying that, he would leave. As Amagi would say, sure, Izuku. I'll try my best. As after saying those words, you would go to another perspective. As we go to Azur Lane, as Belfast would still be working with the commander. As she would say, Commander, we're kind of getting a bit of a commotion back in the North Sea, or at least the East Sea. Apparently, there's been a large talk about a large island moving. As the commander, as we go to the commander, in this case, Scarlett D. Williams, as she would be eating on another hot dog, as she would say, so, about this floating island thing, do you think it might be a siren? As she would say, I'm not exactly sure, Commander, but for now, I sent the Royal Navy fleet to basically check on the area. I also recently heard that the Grey Ghost is coming soon. Now she would say, wait, Enti? Huh. So, I hope she gets here soon. Especially since ever since the declaration of war. And so we're gonna be ending off this episode right off here, guys. So yeah, so bye bye.